Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm a fourth year in the botany department at UC Riverside, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what kind of resources we have on campus, both for research and beyond. So in terms of research, we actually have quite a bit of stuff for plant biology specifically. So we have a ton of greenhouses, so plenty of space to grow plants and run experiments, and we actually are just getting new greenhouses. That construction is like almost done. So that's really exciting. We also have a few different cores. We have a genomics core, a metabolomics core, and an imaging core with a scanning electron microscope. So we don't have to worry about like sending things out and waiting all this time. We have a lot of that stuff already on campus, which is awesome. We also have some government labs on campus and nearby. So there's the USDA Salinity Lab on campus and a Forest Service lab that focuses a lot on fire, but also air pollution just off campus. So we have kind of these really good resources if you want to do more government research and kind of get connected to people in that realm. We also have a lot of great resources for field work. So one of the things that I personally use a lot as an ecologist who does a lot of field work, we have a fleet services program that has this huge amount of like very new cars to take for field work. And it's really great if you're out, in the mountains or in the desert and need 4-wheel drive and can't do that yourself. And it's a great resource, and they are super helpful and super friendly, which is awesome. We also have resources for things like writing and analysis. So we have a whole graduate division that does writing workshops. One of the things that they do that's really helpful is they'll do summer workshops for the Ford Fellowship and GRFP, so you can kind of prep that application way before the due date and really get going on it early, which obviously is helpful. And then we have something called Grad Quant, where we have consultants and leaders on through the grad division that help you with things like analysis and coding, so you're not kind of alone trying to figure out the best ways to do things. They also put on workshops for all sorts of things, so that's really helpful. And then they also put on, grad division puts on TA workshops every year, which is really helpful if you've never TA'd before, but also if you have TA'd before and you're just feeling a little nervous about settling into what that looks like and making sure that you're teaching well and have all the resources you need as a teacher. So that's really helpful. One thing that I really love about botany too, in terms of kind of prepping your research and making you better, is there are a lot of opportunities to give department seminars. So we have 2 department seminars per person, without like not counting the defense and not including like qualifying situations. It's just your first year you get to give a quick seminar, and then you get to give a much more extensive seminar in your third year. So it's really great to get that talk practice earlier on and get comfortable with that. And we also have the Graduate Student Association has great travel grants for funding to go to conferences when that's available, but also they do have funding for online conferences, which is really great during COVID when we might not be able to kind of have that experience still. We also have a ton of resources if you want to do more applied work, kind of less the academia side. One of the big things that we have at UCR is agriculture resources. So we have a whole agricultural operations, which is like multiple acres right off campus that you can do research at. And that's super rare to have and super nice for a really wide range of research. We have, for a lot of big crops like citrus or avocado, but on campus we also have, just space to do like turfgrass research or drought research on trees. So there's a really big range of what you can do right on campus. We also have faculty who serve as cooperative extension, which means they also work in industry or in more applied realms in addition to research. And so it's a great way to kind of have that connection outside of academia while you're still in grad school, if you know that you want to go into industry and want to prep for that as you're going through your PhD. One of the really cool things about UCs that I also didn't know until I started at a UC is that there's this really big network of UC natural reserves all through California. So I go to ones in the desert a lot, but also there are ones in Anza Borrego, in the mountains, all over the place to do research at with really limited permit, applications. So that makes it a lot easier, and really cheap places to stay. A lot of them have dorms right on the reserve. And so that's a really great resource as you're putting together these like larger fieldwork campaigns that, you can kind of get rid of one logistic stress early on. We also have a botanic garden on campus, which is nice just to walk around, but also really handy for research as well. You can really set up research programs and research campaigns really easily there. They're really supportive of that. And that's a great resource and a great place. When we're in person, we tend to have a fall social there, and hopefully that starts up again soon. And then beyond even research, if you want to, build up other skills where you're in grad school, UCR is a great place for that. So even in our department, we have a DEI committee, so a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee, which is a great way to kind of build up your passion about making science more equitable. And there's also a larger group for the whole campus with a steering committee that a couple students in botany actually help lead, called United People for Black Academia. And so that's doing a lot of the really hands on the ground work boots on the ground work to make sure that Black students and Black academics are supported in universities where they don't always get the same support. And so I think Riverside is doing a great job with that. And then you also have, the whole Graduate Student Association, and they're really looking out for graduate student needs at the university and with the administration. And then also each department has its own representatives. So if you're interested in kind of really helping improve all sorts of things on campus, botany has a mini GSA that you can serve as a representative on that, and then serve in the big GSA and make sure that you're, making a difference for the whole school and making graduate student life a lot better. We do have a teachers assistant union, which is great. So we feel really supported, and we're able to kind of have that connection and not have to worry so much about being taken advantage of with extra hours. And there is also a big push for a student researchers union as well. So there's a lot of support in the UC system for graduate students as workers, or at least there's a big push for it in so many ways. So you'll have graduate students all on your side in that way. We also do have, if you're interested in science communication, there is a SciComm group on campus, which is really great. They have a podcast called Beyond the Bench, which is a great way to kind of have scientists come in and talk about their research to a broader audience. We also have a science policy group on campus. That's something I'm actually really involved with. And it's a really great program because it's actually one of the larger science policy groups run by graduate students in the country. And we're really well connected to the National Science Policy Network. So it's a great way to kind of jump in the policy world and get your sea legs there while you're a graduate student. And make sure that your research is making a difference. And actually 2 of the founders of that group are now AAAS policy fellows, so it can really help you move forward in the policy world. And then just kind of briefly about health and self-care on campus. Obviously we have a health center and a pharmacy, and we actually get shockingly good insurance as graduate students, which I really like. And of course we have a gym, and they've been really great about equipment rentals and online classes during COVID. But then in terms of mental health, we do have a counseling and psychological services, and they are really handy. They do group sessions. So if you kind of just want to talk to other grad students and have someone moderate it, they have, general grad student groups, they have COVID stress groups, they have a whole range of group choices. But they also do have one-on-one talk therapy. I actually go once a month, and I love my therapist there. And it's a great resource to have. And, especially with how stressful remote work and how stressful grad school can really be, having that is, I think, just a crucial resource as a graduate student. And then we also, one of the things I really like about UCR, we have a food pantry on campus. So since UCR grows a lot of food, we have a lot of agriculture research and a lot of agriculture space, and we have a garden on campus, so you can get free, really good produce from campus, which is really great. A lot of grad students and undergrads face food insecurity at some point, and having that resource on campus is really useful. And even if you're not, in dire need, it's a really great place to get some food and, feel a little bit more comfortable in a stretch of rough weeks or anything like that. And what's really great about that, with COVID, it's been appointments online, and so it's really individualized. But during normal operations, they do have graduate student only hours, so you don't have to run into students of yours. And so that's really great. So yeah, that's just kind of a quick intro to all the different resources we have on campus. I'm sure there are some I'm missing, but I really think that there's a great, kind of support in terms of resources at UCR, which really makes being a grad student a lot smoother. And that's not even including the support and resources of just talking and working with other people in your department. So I really hope this was helpful, and I hope to see y'all in the fall.